I think you can get really fine views of the Western Edge from up here at Dairy Farmers Hill. Yeah, you can see from here, looking across directly in front of us there with the big scar. I had the opportunity to visit there soon after the clearing had taken place, and there was a lone scarlet robin sitting in those trees. Look, everybody's favourite bird, the scarlet robin, and it lost its habitat essentially. It's the same old story really. When we talk about establishment of nature reserves, the densely forested areas always seem to get priority and the open country doesn't. And more of that sort of country is being devoured by expanding suburbs. The Western Edge is a little patch of Australia that we really shouldn't develop onto. We do still have lots of open space in Canberra, but we do need to actually look at novel ways of doing urban infill. It certainly will take pressure off our beautiful open country that we can't afford to lose.
Ninanuru, this place here, Nyambri or Canberra, has been our ancestral country since time immemorial. We've seen a carve-up of country based on the myth of Terra Nullius. And that myth of Terra Nullius continues today.
Between 2004 and 2023, Canberra's urban footprint grew by 40%. This has had an impact on 30 of our 66 threatened species. The ACT government is currently investigating a huge expansion of Canberra's urban footprint to the west of the city. The Western Edge runs from the south of Belconnen to the north of Tuggeranong and contains important ecological communities. That is why we are running a campaign to save the Western Edge from development.
There is no long-term strategic plan for Canberra's growth to cope with the next 500,000. We don't have one. It's always been my view as a planner that urban development has a rapacious appetite for land, and we can't allow that to continue. This city has more or less reached its outer limits of its physical growth. If we want to have a city that continues to respect its landscape and tries to reduce our overall environmental footprint, we need some very clear decisions about which areas we are willing to allow to go to further urban development and which areas we want to see to continue to be protected from development. It shouldn't have to boil down to an argy-bargy over every block. We protect our hill reserves and our open spaces from development. We've been doing that for the last 50 odd years because we saw some value in having that as being a benefit for the city. And we're well renowned for our bush landscape because of it. Do you want to go and destroy that?
When I first brought Raina here, I said, oh, this must have been grazed, this must have been cleared, but you said no.
Yeah, look, a lot of what we see as cleared land is actually part of a mosaic of open grassy woodland, big grassy patches, especially where you have these west-facing hills. But it was already like that before white man came along. And unfortunately, our modern development, agricultural and urban development, doesn't recognise that and destroys it.
And I don't think there's the perception amongst people in general that this is as valuable as the rainforest.
Yeah.
People are very romantically attached to rainforests, but we need to be romantically attached to these beautiful woodlands as well.
It's actually interesting that you say that, Kim, because anthropological theory states that we actually evolved in this habitat, in the open grassy plains of Africa, yet we don't seem to value it. This is the sort of thing that we run the risk of losing if the Western Edge gets developed.
So far from me thinking that this was cleared land that sheep had been put on, I should have been seeing it in a much older way.
We have a little wildflower here. It's called Triptylediscus pygmaeus. So if you line up the name with the plant, usually the name is longer than the plant. Look at that tree, isn't that magnificent?
And how old would that be?
I reckon that one would probably be 300 years.
It's like an apartment house for birds. I've been birding here for 7 or 8 years now, almost weekly. I've accumulated a list of 110 species on this block.
The bird sounds have definitely increased.
Sometimes there's so many birds here you don't know where to look first. There's a very pretty one that's sort of got like what's called the falling leaf call. That, you hear that? Yeah. That's a white-throated gerygony, bright yellow breast, white throat, and they nest here in the ACT and other parts of southeast Australia. I just wanted to show you this lovely tree with the hollow in it at the base.
Wow.
To go by Raina's formula for ageing trees, that would have to be hundreds and hundreds of years old.
It's been entirely burnt out. You can see all the way to the top.
As a birder, I see the birds flying across between the different blocks. And one could say, well, let's just reserve this one little box here and all the birds will just stay there. Well, they don't.
Yeah.
Birds fly, oddly. Yes, they do. I think this place is so special. It is part of our Western Edge and part of that larger Murrumbidgee corridor.
It's stunning, isn't it? My initial reaction is if you were looking at any development here, just look at the amount of woodland that would have to go. There's no question about that. You only need to look back to our city's origins to see great examples of urban planning with more environmental consideration. We can do better.
Our initial urban designers were very wise in ensuring that our natural landscape was given some protection from higgledy-piggledy development. There's only a limited amount of land left within the ACT that's suitable for large-scale urban development. The second limitation is the connection between the city's landscape and the transport demand and the ability to develop a linear transport system that creates connectivity and efficiency in the way that works. And the third limitation is our water supply. It's currently almost at capacity in some respects, and our water treatment works. We can't just dump our shit in the river and leave it to the river system to clean. If we extend the city by another 500,000 people, that means that we have to look very carefully at our existing urban fabric and also to increase the flexibility of choice of style of housing within it.
You don't have to build a new home to have a comfortable, modern, energy-efficient home. But there's this strong idea, a cultural idea in Australia, that you have to start new and bigger is better. That's so far from the truth. Good house design is not just about the footprint of the home. It's about what you do outside of the home. And reducing that footprint gives you so much more opportunity to incorporate great landscape design with architectural design. I actually lived in the suburb of Wright until a few years ago, so I know what it's like to live in those new suburbs. The houses around us were large and surrounded by concrete. Very few people planted up their verges. There was so much thermal mass. So in these hot summers, it was horrible. You know, going outside was just not an inviting thing to do. And so we really need to start thinking creatively about ways to retrofit our existing housing stock.
My first job was actually with the Nature Conservation Council, which I really loved, but you were always fighting against something, like trying to stop this and stop that. I found it kind of negative. So when I did my permaculture course, what I found is it actually was a new way of framing everything that I knew. Suddenly there was this positive way to like be in the world and live your life. For me, that's been about growing plants. In Canberra, you're actually allowed to grow things on your verge. So it's a really easy way to start growing food in your neighbourhood. So if you don't have the space for a garden, this is another thing that we need more of, is more community gardens in Canberra. Just getting people out there building a garden together. But it's also this deeper understanding of who people are and what they can do. There's all these people out there who are really keen and passionate about food growing. It's just working together to do something positive in the world. I think everyone likes to do something positive for the world. People do have a huge amount of power, and when people work together for a common goal, I think we can do a lot.
Beautiful sight, isn't it? People planting trees. Look at it, it's gorgeous.
Once you start getting your hands into the soil, planting trees and coming back in 5 years and seeing that little thing you planted is now this wonderful structure that supports so much other life and diversity, it's quite an infectious thing, and I think it gets into your bones, and once you start doing it, you get up in the morning, you don't have another choice, and it's a great way to be.
As a volunteer, it's definitely like, I wish I could be out here all the time. I think at the end of the day, little steps matter, especially with young people. You start taking them out bushwalking and they go like, oh wow, this place is really beautiful. And then you say it's getting bulldozed next year. They go, what? Every opportunity is an opportunity to come and help. There's no small step that doesn't matter.
It's really fantastic to be here today to see this amount of volunteers in the community interested in helping improve the Murrumbidgee River. It's a really important river in the ACT. There's lots of kids out here, there's older people, just loving being here, planting some trees, talking to each other, getting to know the area a little bit.
Injamara bala birda bina Yawilawil Wuru and Canberra, Murrumbidgee, Julang. Respect is in the rivers and the creeks, the Canberra rivers, Murrumbidgee River, quietly moving through country. So river, water is life, Najang, Bila, river, water is life. The rivers held a richness of biodiversity for our old people. The fish, the turtles, the native mussels. The upper Murrumbidgee is part of the highway of our old people, and the rivers, the Goobagandra, the Goodra Digby, the Mollangoola, the Canberra, all parts of an important landscape where cultural knowledge is passed on from generation to generation.
never seen anyone meet a baby wombat and not be taken by them. What did you eat? That is not good. It started with me holding a baby wombat in a zoo 12 years ago, and I thought this is the most magical creature I've ever met. I did realize early on that they're not just cute, but they're also struggling as a species, and there's some problems that most people just don't know about. We struggle to find release sites that's safe and suitable for them. The Western Edge would be perfect because it's in a riparian area. There's not many suburbs out there, and I would love to see it stay suburb free. They live good lives, these two. Safe for now. Come on, come on. You're making it harder. We are building suburbs in prime wombat territory. Burrows are being bulldozed. Wombats are on the ground sleeping, so they get killed and crushed. Wombat populations that are untouched by urban development are being impacted by the displaced wombats. They may be common now, but it won't be the case forever if we don't change what we do. It's a cultural change that needs to happen. We want to have a program in place where we look after them, where coexistence is possible rather than killing them.
It's a really tricky thing about Australia's native wildlife is a lot of it's nocturnal, and part of the challenge is people's perception of the environment and the fact that no one ever goes walking at night time in the woodlands to see a lot of our nocturnal fauna.
We never used to bury our dead in the ground. We would put them in the tree trunks so that they would petrify and become part of country. What people don't understand is that country, like the land, is actually an extension of us. So we are country, country is us. And that's our connection to our culture, to our country, to our ancestors.
We talk about our constitution. And our constitution is written in the landscape. It's our story, our Gialang, and our belonging to country, Niaway Gunungidju, our identity to the country, that is important to us today. Here is one of my contemporary tree carvings on country. This talks about the cosmos. This talks about Yinjamara Bala Bayami, Wallamara, Maramaudine, Umba Yukumbrak Yibai Mulin, respecting our creator and protector Bayami, respecting our key totems, the crow and the eagle. It's about the deep connection and the deep listening and deep time of our old people living on country.
It's almost like a double-edged sword. We need houses to house people, and we need, Aboriginal people as well. But at the same time, in order to do that, you're taking away parts of us where, initiations have happened, where ceremony has happened, where birthing has happened, and as the descendants of our ancestors, it's madness to us.
Once we see the inherent value of Canberra's western edge, our priorities will change. Then it just becomes a question of how we can both provide homes for people and habitat for nature. Funnily enough, this is the question that we're already addressing to Canberra's north at Mulligan's Flat Woodland Sanctuary.
I try to get out here every week, see if we can find some orchids or an eastern brown snake or an echidna. It's actually, I think, a different type of knowledge that you garner by being out in the landscape and taking the time to reflect and do it again time over time. Oh shit! See how they're not moving that quickly at this time of the year? In summertime, they'd be long gone before we get anywhere near him. This sanctuary is unlike any of the nature reserves surrounding it. It's the only woodland in Australia that's free from the ongoing effects of foxes, cats, deer, hare, rabbits, pigs and goats. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Governments are generally quite risk averse, so whenever you bring a new idea to government, we expect that the first answer will be no, and we have to build a case around why it might not be no. Take a little risk and try something different. It's a place where people can experience nature that is rich, where you can see echidnas pretty much any day of the year. The great lesson learnt is that if we work together collectively, we can create something better for nature. When people come here, they experience the place, they take home with them the idea that there is a better future for conservation.
I believe kids are naturally curious, and as adults we come in and we tell them don't do this, don't do that. We're just teaching them to be scared of everything. Where I see the real magic happen is when you encourage them, take your shoes off, put your feet in the water, and their faces light up. They're like, oh, the water's so cold, and oh, that blue-tongued lizard in my backyard. It has a role, it's playing its part. I can enjoy the environment, appreciate watching it have babies, all of those things. If you don't do that and children aren't exposed to those things early on in life, I don't know what the effects of that would be, and I don't think they're positive ones. The benefit, being a Canberran, to have all of this literally in your backyard. That's what you need to value and protect. That's why you enjoy being here. So get out, enjoy it more, learn more about it, and then you'll be in a more educated position to protect it. If children can do it, adults can do it.
At the end of the day, it's not just about signing petitions and turning up to rallies. It's about being in the bush capital, being custodians of this beautiful part of the world, enjoying it now and protecting it for future generations to come. We can choose good urban design that connects people to each other and the services that they need, and that protects nature. I mean, look around. This is where I got to grow up. My childcare, my preschool, my primary school, my high school, my college, my university, and now my place of work are all along this bike path behind us here. That's not by chance. That's good urban design. And as citizens of a democracy, it's up to us to tell our government how we want our city to be designed. That's why we're coming together en masse to save 9,800 hectares of beautiful yet critically endangered ecosystems.
I think the way forward for that is to work in partnership with the traditional owners and actually put back into our community. We're here to work with yous, not against yous.
And, we welcome, all people to come on the journey with Aboriginal people, and to sit and listen and engage with our stories. The message to people in the city is that as traditional owners, our voices need to be heard and valued in the planning system from start to finish.
We understand that our city is growing, but believe that further densification done in an ecologically sensitive manner is the best way to house our future population. The Conservation Council ACT is calling on the ACT government to stop further urban sprawl on our city's western edge. We are campaigning for the ACT government to develop an urban boundary for our city and for the western edge to be protected for its recreational, ecological and cultural values.
This is not just about protecting our environment. This is actually about returning democracy to everyday people so we don't have to keep mobilising. It's forcing us to change the world. Change is coming whether we like it or not. So why don't we make sure that that change is for the best? This is what's possible for all Canberrans, but we need to let our government know that that's what we want.
Working together, going slow, being patient, taking responsibility for the here and now, and acknowledging the past, the present, moving into the future.